Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be talking about the critical role educators play in society and in our lives.
Trainer, teacher, professor, educator. The role has many names, some of which raise questions. Do trainers train us like animals? Wouldn't the trendy word facilitator be better?
Or host, like on a game show.
Let's be serious, though. Regardless of the terms used, let's talk about why we need support when learning. The importance of educators. What's the story?
First, let's not forget that learning is an individual responsibility for anyone who hopes to contribute to society.
But as it turns out, learning isn't easy. In fact, to learn is to suffer because it forces us to constantly question ourselves and our reality. As a result, learning can seem like an endless, arduous task, one that can easily scare people off.
True, but the learning journey doesn't have to be a solitary one. Every moment of our lives, every event and chance encounter shapes our future.
So, every encounter that lights our way and helps to guide us gives us courage. And that's exactly what educators, who aim to help us grow, are there to do.
Learning is about going outside, and outside it's cold. So the role of the educator, who accompanies us and guides us as we explore the world outside of ourselves, is crucial.
Right, educators guide learners to ensure they have the skills needed to travel along the path to knowledge.
But they can't make the trip for you. This is a critical distinction. The student has to make the effort. No matter how devoted the educator, they can't put in the effort for you.
You're right. The educator can make the effort more palatable by explaining why it's necessary and creating conditions that kindle the desire to learn, via gamification, for example, but students still have to put in the effort.
Precisely. So, trainers aren't just sources of knowledge, because educating is about so much more than handing down information.
But on the other hand, using terms like training host might lead people to believe that the educator is only there to amuse them and meet their expectations. But leading a training isn't about entertainment.
It's really about bringing a training to life by incorporating discussion, sharing your energy and kindling the learner's desire to keep learning outside the classroom.
Trainers are there to light the fire and provide the keys. It's up to the learner to open the doors.
In the end, knowledge isn't the most important part of learning. It's the process. As Paul Valéry wrote, teaching that doesn't teach you to ask questions is no good. Teaching is about giving students food for thought. It's the question that sets the cogs turning.
The learning process that must be passed on is one that allows the learner to determine when they must doubt and when they must accept information. So the educator's most important role is to provide students with the means to exercise critical thinking.
This exploration of the role of educators raises a number of questions. We'll cite just a few. Maybe it will kindle your desire to learn more.
First, you might wonder why institutions of higher learning often value their professors' publications more highly than their desire and ability to teach.
And when it comes to society at large, there's the question of the importance of educators to democratic society. Education seems to be key to the future of democracy.
On a more personal level, you might look into a second individual responsibility to society, to learn, for yourself and others, yes, but also to teach. A fundamental duty, because education is what makes us human.
We must all take up this individual responsibility, not only to educate younger generations, but also our peers and even more experienced people, because learning never stops.
To recap, learning is a long and difficult journey for which we often need a guide. That is the role of educators, who 1. Show us the way, 2. Kindle our desire to walk the path, and 3. Help us to develop our critical thinking skills. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short.
Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.